Welcome to the Loveability Podcast. My name is Jennifer Stiers, and I'm here to talk love, relationships, sex, marriage, and everything in between. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Loveability Show. Speak much. We're going to have fun today. So I know I was just telling my producer, he's like, how'd you come up with this topic? Because today's topic is the lies people tell themselves about love and relationships and dating. And my answer was that this theme last week that I kept hearing people say they were going to give up on dating, that they've given up, I've given up. And I think to myself that there's just not a way and a mindset to approach, if you really want to find love and it's something that's important to you, that's not something you want to tell yourself. And it's not an energy you want to go into love with or dating with. I mean, I think people think that they can give up and then it's just love's gonna fall on their doorstep. But that's not how it works. It's not how it works, people. And it's so important. I think that people are starting to realize how important mindset is in life with everything. And I feel like today, let's talk about some of the ways in which we talk ourselves out of love or falling in love or finding someone amazing. Interestingly enough, I had posted the topic, and one of the things that came for me is that worthy thing. Like that very first thing came for me is so many people don't think they're worthy or they're good enough or they're lovable enough to find love. And I thought, I don't really want to put that out there. And the first comment on my page was somebody saying that they're not lovable enough. And for years of maybe abusive relationships, verbally abusive childhoods, things like that, where you don't feel worthy, you don't feel like enough, or maybe there's something in your life, a hobby or a habit that you have that you don't think somebody could love. It doesn't matter who you are and what baggage you bring to the table. Everybody's got baggage, right? And somebody's going to love your baggage regardless. Interestingly enough, I don't bring that, the worthiness thing to the table, but I did date somebody for a long time that didn't have animals, like never had animals his whole life. Liked them, but never had them. Had some family animals, but not really growing up that responsibility, because he didn't like responsibility. And I'm in rescue, so a lot of my life was built around animals, and he didn't get it. Like he didn't understand it. And every once in a while he would throw out this comment to me about, oh, well, nobody else is going to put up with you, dealing with like all this rescue stuff and all these animals. And I thought, no, there are. And interestingly enough, when I got out, I started finding people that loved animals. And that's for me, it was such a big thing to realize, like, I need to put this at the top of my list. So everybody hear me on your unlovable thing, whatever it is that you may feel might be unlovable or not something that somebody else might like or want to be a part of. It may be a hobby. I would consider that a hobby too. put it at the top of your list that somebody's got to have, that has to be in love with that as well, or at least support it and love it enough to support it. Because if they don't get it, they're not going to get you. And what happens is they end up putting it down, whatever it is. It could be a hobby of yours. It could be a lifestyle. It could be a value. It could be something you believe in. But don't let anybody ever sway you into believing that any part of you, anything that you bring to the table is unlovable, or makes you unworthy of being in a relationship, because it's just not the case. You just got to find people that love the things that you love. I mean, I there's a reason when I started my new company, I came up with that logo. You've got to find people that love like you do. That encompasses a lot of things. It encompasses a lot of things. But if you're on the same page in life and what you like to do and what you believe in, everything works out. So find somebody more like you, not somebody that's going to be against or not support something that you believe in or are or do in your life. I just wanted to hit that one straight on, because so many people come in with the worthiness thing. One other thing I would say to you all, because I think there are a lot of people running around with the they're not worthy conversation. I try to be careful not to say I'm not, because your words are power, and your words actually have power over your cells. And so you have to be careful what you speak over your body and your mind. And so I'm not going to say that I'm not, because I am worthy. But if you do believe that you're not, you'd be surprised the difference in saying the words, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, and saying those over and over again. There are times when I've had clients that don't believe it, and we go through exercises, and then I'll sit with them and I'll say, now I want you to say, just close your eyes, sit with yourself and say, I am worthy, and say it about 25 times. Just start, and I'll tell you when to stop. And I can literally hear the inflection in their voice. The first 5 are fine, and then they start getting into it, and it'll start hitting that nerve, because ultimately what you're doing is you're speaking something over your body. And if your nervous system has a reaction to it, whether it be true or not true, that's how it reacts, and I can hear it. And we're able to move through that. But it's an interesting exercise for any of you that feel like you're in that place. As weird as it may sound, try it. Because you yourself might be surprised at you'll even hear it yourself, and you'll feel it yourself. I've had a lot of people start that exercise and get about 10, 15 in, and they start crying, because it does evoke such a neurological and nervous system reaction. Hi, Jamie. How are you? Susan, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. One of my rescue friends here as well. Glad you guys could join us. Everybody say hi. I see you joining, but say hello. So super important that we come into a relationship whole enough, right? You didn't hear me say whole, because I don't know that we're ever a finished job, that we're ever complete, but that's a process we are working on continuously ourselves, and we should be working on in our relationship. So we have to come in healthy, though. We have to come in loving ourselves. We have to come in knowing ourselves, and believing in who we are, and believing that we're worthy of love. Because if we don't believe we're worthy of love, the very first thing that's going to happen is you're going to attract people that don't believe it either. So if you attract people that don't see your value, it's because you don't see your value. And you guys can fight with me all you want on that. Energy attracts energy. They're magnets. And that's not my theory. that is not my theory. I am not a philosopher, and I definitely did not make up Einstein's and all the other people that studied philosophy and physics. Like energy attracts like energy. So whatever you're attracting, you're putting out. So that's a whole nother class to do. But let's start here with the first one that I have, because this is, again, a really big one. How many people say, I'm happy. I don't need a relationship or love to be happy. It's okay if you're happy, and I want you to be happy, and I want you to be happy without a relationship. But the key to this is that you want to make sure that you're happy and you have space for someone. I Not that someone's going to make you happier, but somebody should come to the table that brings some more joy. Like you have joy, you have peace, you have, happiness, you have self-love, but somebody should come to the table and complement every one of those things. Make it greater, right? Not add where we're deficient, but make it greater. So it's okay if you're happy, but to dismiss love, to say, well, I don't need it because I'm happy, or I'm happy all by myself if I never found anybody, that's not true. It's a lie, because if you really want somebody in your life, don't proclaim you're happy without someone in your life. Proclaim that you're happy, and I'll even be happier and more full of joy and blessings and gratitude when my person shows up, right? So it's a small shift, but I really feel like people cut it out. I'm happy. I don't need anybody else to make me happy. Great that you don't need anybody else, but do you want somebody? Don't shut the door. Do you see what I'm saying energetically? You don't want to shut that door. So it's like, I'm happy and I can't wait to meet my person, right? Who's even going to make my life even more joyous and happy. Hi, Anne. So we just want to make sure that we aren't denying ourselves the opportunity to find love and happiness by saying, I'm already happy. I don't need that. We do need it. We do want it. If you're here, if you're listening, if you're relationship oriented, we want it. Relationships are amazing. It's great if you can be happy on your own. Isn't it amazing when you find somebody that you love and you're just that much happier? I did that. I'm not lovable. Again, I want to the one point I made on here, I just want to make sure I point out again. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Until you love yourself, you can't love anybody else. So it's really important that you do whatever work you need to do to make sure you can say, I love myself, flaws and all. Nobody's perfect, but you have to love yourself the way you are, even with all your little quirks and all your little, everybody's got their stuff, people. And I think that is such a key thing. As I was thinking about this on my way over, most of the people that are looking for love, like real love and relationship, and are really serious, as most of you are, we're midlife. We're 40s, 50s. We've, had relationships. Some of us have been married. Some of us married more than once. And there's this point in our life where we have baggage and we have emotional stuff and we have experiences and perceptions about love and relationships and finding someone. And it's that stuff that gets in the way. All of that stuff gets in the way. And I think the biggest thing is expecting ourselves to be perfect and also expecting somebody else that comes into our life to be perfect too. Some of you that are getting out of marriages or relationships that you've been in for a long time and you're new in this dating world, wake up call. It's not anything like it was 30 years ago. Everything has changed. Everything. I'm in this business and I'm amazed constantly how things are changing. And I keep up with trends, and mindsets with different generations are changing all the time. Like every year or two, we see shifts in the way people think and the way that they look for love and the way that they think about love and their perceptions about relationships and their perceptions about marriage. All of it is changing every single day. So give yourself time. If you're just getting out there and starting to date again, give yourself time to kind of learn the landscape and feel it out. Because if you go out there expecting people to be like you or to read your mind or to want the same things that you want exactly, and people do that. I mean, just way too much they do that. it's not realistic and it's not going to work. And all it does is set you up guys up for failure. And then you're the people that I'm hearing, I'm giving up, or I gave up, it sucks. And that is the people that give up on dating are the people that have unrealistic expectations about it, or have an expectation about it. And I can tell you right now, some of you are just looking in the wrong place. And as long as you keep looking and going down that same path and road, looking for love and trying to find the same people, I mean, trying to find different people in the same environment, you're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. All it's going to do is be a self-fulfilling prophecy that there's no good people out there, and you're never going to find love, and then internalize it. So another thing, and I can relate, because this also is important, especially for people that are growing, people in their 30s and 40s that are building their businesses. You hear this all the time. I'm too busy for a relationship, right? Sometimes we are. Sometimes we are. And it would really help if you guys are really that busy and really have something going on in your life, whether it be task oriented like work, or it be emotionally oriented. Maybe you've just gotten out of a divorce. Maybe you've lost someone you love. Whatever that may be, you should give yourself time to heal before you get back out there. Give yourself time to work through whatever you need to before you push yourself back out there. Because that's a worse place to be. Besides shutting it completely out of your life, it's a worse place to be, where you get in, start falling in love with someone else has fallen in love with you, and then all of a sudden you realize you're not ready, or you're not healed, or you're not emotionally ready or available, and then it breaks everybody's heart. So don't get on dating apps. Don't go out and start meeting people. Don't ask people out. Don't tell people you're ready for a relationship until you know that you're actually ready, because that makes a huge difference. But using "I'm too busy" as an excuse is just you avoiding a relationship, right? If you have said that for way too long, you need to look at, what is it that I'm avoiding? What is it that I don't want to get into with a relationship? Because sometimes it's just that maybe relationships have been hard for you. Maybe you've had some bad experiences and you don't want to have those experiences anymore, and they really clouded you and you're afraid of it happening again. And so there's fear there. But it's really important that you look at your own excuses, as to what can it show you? What can you learn from it? What can it teach you? Any questions, please let me know. I'm trying to keep up with comments here. Good to see some new faces. It's like 100 degrees in Texas today. It's hot as blazes. We're getting into summer now. We've been complaining about the rain, and now it's like, okay. Okay. Another one. This is such a big one, everybody. This is such a big one. I hear this all the time. Every single week somebody says it. All the good ones are taken. No, they're not. No, they're not. There are so many good women and there are so many good men out there. I know them. I do this for a living. I talk to people. I interview them. I know the good people. And I'm telling you, there's not just good people, there's amazing people out there. If you're not finding them, there's something preventing you from finding them. You're looking in the wrong place. Your expectations aren't realistic. And actually it's probably one of those two things, to be honest. Or you're not healthy, just a mindset. If your mindset is that there's no good people out there, that could also be just a mindset thing, that you don't believe that somebody good exists, which may go back to a worthiness factor, to be to when you go back to the root. So, but most of the reason that people believe that there's no good people out there and they're all taken is because you're looking in the wrong place. And you're finding the wrong people. And when you find the wrong people continuously, you need to look at your pattern. Why? What are you finding? Then when you figure out what your pattern is and what you're finding, you now have a place to go for your own learning. If you're finding people that abuse you, whether it be emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever. You find people that are abusive to you. Where is the abuse wound in you? Where is it? Did it come from childhood? Not healed. Does it come from I deserve this because probably you were abused from someone else in your life? The wound's still there. If you're finding abusive people, it's because the abuse wound is not healed. If you're finding people that are emotionally or physically unavailable, it's because you are somewhere, whether you say I'm available or not, somewhere inside of you, you're not. You may not, you may not feel like you're worthy of love. You may not feel like you really want a relationship or you can trust in throwing your heart out there again. You may be fear getting hurt again. That is one way in which we can be emotionally and relationally avoidant. Is not, not or being afraid that you're going to get hurt. So that does make you emotionally unavailable because you're holding a piece of yourself back. So super important that we look at that. I love when you guys ask questions and talk. So I'm going to keep checking this and hope that you guys ask questions or tell me stories. I like hearing stories too. Your dating stories are unbelievable to me. I mean, I feel like I hear something new every week and my jaw goes to the floor and I'm like, I can't believe like people are doing this, women are doing this, or men are doing this. By the way, there are some topics I really want to get into as we move forward here with the show. And one of those is some of the trends we're seeing with men and women and the masculine feminine thing. I know I posted about there's great men out there today. And one of the things I do want to talk about too is the fact that I'm also seeing a trend in men being weak and not showing up and leading in a relationship. We're seeing a lot more of that. A lot of people are talking about it in the relationship world, but it's really, really happening. And I really want to talk to a guy. So I'm going to have a guest on the show to talk about why we think we're seeing this and this fall in courting, like a man courting a woman. A lot of men don't even know what that word means anymore. So I really want to get into that too, because there are some other trends happening as well. But there's lots of good people out there, back to where we were. There's lots of good people out there that want the same things that you want. Most of them, not all the same things you want, but most of them. And if you're not finding them, you've got to look in a different place or look within yourself. There's this whole idea too of sitting back and saying, if love is going to find me, if my person is going to find me, God will lead him to me. But people, if you're sitting in your house 24/7, you're working out of your home, you're going to work, you're coming back home, love isn't going to find you. I mean, unless it's the UPS driver, you know what I mean? Or the bug guy that comes to spray your house once. I'm just saying that some of you aren't putting yourself out there at all and just thinking like it's just going to happen. And could it happen? It absolutely could. You could go to the grocery store, which I hope people still do things like that. Because when I go to the grocery store, Chris, I'm going to get on a rant. I sound like an old person. I'm like turning into my parents. But I know I go to HEB and I see people sitting in their car waiting for their groceries to be brought out to them. They've called them in. I see people shopping in the grocery store all the time for people, putting their groceries in a cart, and then people come pick them. How lazy are you? I mean, how unbelievably lazy are people? If you're one of those people, go in the grocery stores. I live in Frisco and I go to the HEB in Frisco. Ladies, you want to find some hot men, go to HEB in Frisco. It is hot single menville out there. I know I tell all my single girlfriends, you're missing out on opportunities to meet people by not putting yourself out there. As simple as a grocery store, right? A gym, going to work out, wherever you are going, wherever you are. If you're walking in your neighborhood down the street, I mean, you never know, you might have some cute single neighbors, right? You've got to get out in order to meet. If God's going to send you somebody, you got to be available somewhere for him to send them, right? So sitting back with that mindset lie, like if love's out there for me, it'll find me. It can't find you if you're sitting in your house and not going out and doing anything and interacting with life. So, people got super lazy during COVID. That's what I get on my rants. People got super lazy during COVID. They did. And they started doing things like the delivery services and all that stuff. I mean, get your butt up and go do stuff. Go to the gym, go to the grocery store, go on walks, go play top golf with your friends, go to the movies, go do things, go get out in life. There's so many things to do. Enjoy your life, go enjoy your hobbies. What are the things that you love to do? Go to those places and find people that also love doing those things. You like to go golfing, go to the driving range. Great people out there that also like to golf. So super important that you don't sit back and wait for love to just knock you over, right? You've got to do something about it, and you've got to get yourself out there. And I feel like that's such an important one because I hear so many people say it and then just kind of push it back on God, and God's going to go, you got to work for everything. God helps those who help themselves. So quit hiding behind him, and make something happen for yourself. Okay. So I think there's this other one that kind of coincides with another one that I'd already said, but this whole thing of I'm better off alone. It's that I'm happy by myself, which we talked about, but this I'm better off alone. I hear that. Why are you better off alone? Here's why you think you're better off alone. You think you're better off alone because you can control yourself. You can control what you allow in, what you do, what you put out. You have control. That's why. So when you open yourself up to love, when you have a relationship, you have to be vulnerable. You have to let somebody in. You have to be open to who they are. You have to extend grace because they're not going to be you, and they're not going to be exactly like you, and they're not going to think exactly like you. So it's really important to get yourself out of that mindset of you're better off alone. If you don't want to be alone, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that to yourself, because nobody's better off alone. I mean, God made Eve for Adam because man should not be alone. I mean, it's in the Bible. Like, we're not supposed to be alone, right? So super important that we not isolate ourselves and try to believe our own lie that we're better off that way. We're only better off that way if we're in like recluse mode trying to recover from something. You are better off alone if you're hurt. I was grieving a few weeks ago because I lost my baby, and I literally was alone for 2 weeks. Nobody even saw me. Nor did they want to see me because I was crying all the time. But I'm saying those are times when you're better off alone, right? Because you have something to work through, and only time and energy and love and prayer can get you through whatever you're going through. But for the most part, we're not better off alone. We weren't made to be alone. We were made to be with someone. And if you've convinced yourself that you're better off alone, there is a wound there that you need to work on. Okay. And then we talked about I don't have time for a relationship. So busy schedules, I get it. Everybody has time for a relationship. Even if you're busy, please, if you want love, if a relationship is important to you, make time for it the same way you do for your job. Make time for it the same way you do the other important things in your life. You'd be amazed. Years ago, I had a coach in my life that taught me about values, which was such a big exercise for me and would help you guys a lot too in life, is looking at people and seeing what's important to them. People will tell you what's important to them. They'll show you what's important to them. I mean, now in this world, we have social media. You don't even have to go to somebody's house to look at what kind of pictures they have on their wall or how their home is decorated, or what kind of things their hobbies and the things that they do are. But what people value is what they love. And it's important that we pay attention to that for ourselves. Who are we and what do we value and what do we love? But to sit back when you meet people and also kind of look for the same thing. Like just listen to people because they'll tell you who they are. They'll tell you what they love. And it stops in what they value. And values are so important because it's how we live our life and the foundation of everything relationally and everything else. But people don't take the time to listen. They say, well, I want this in a man or I want this in a woman. And instead of watching for what they're really getting, they just got this agenda of what they want, right? So this is what I'm looking for. Oh, he doesn't have this, but he could. I see potential there that he could, have this trait. And yeah, he doesn't make me a priority right now, but down the road he will when we're, a lot more involved. And he doesn't communicate to me very well right now, but down the road he'll communicate better and I'll teach him how. He doesn't touch me as much as I want to be touched, but I'll show him down the road and he'll want to touch me. He's, dating all these other women. He won't want to date them the more he spends time with me. All these crazy things that we want to change about people, just look and watch for who people are, what they value. That will save you so much time and energy and getting in the wrong relationships if you're also paying attention to that as well. Because I think lies we tell ourselves is that I can change someone, right? That we can change someone with our magic love. Like they'll stop, dating other women, or she'll stop drinking when she sees how much it bothers me and affects me and that I don't do it in my life, or whatever the thing is that you want to change. People are who they are and you have to take them at face value. And I think that is such a big that lie that we tell ourselves is that we can change somebody, because we can't. The only people that can change who they are is the person that needs to change. And guys, I'm going to say this one to you more than the women, is that guys, you think when a woman is broken, you see it as a project. You see it as, I can fix her. I can make her happy. She's had this guy do this to her. She had this in her life when she was growing up. She had abusive parents. I can make her life better and I can make her happier and I can give her the things that she never got before. Stop it. I mean, that's it. If a woman coming in with all those wounds, guys, she's got all those wounds. The thing you can't do is fix the wounds. You can give her gifts. You can provide her things. You can love her the best that you can love her. But if she's got wounds, she's got wounds. And the only person that can fix those is her. And they will blow up in your face eventually, just so you know. And ladies, same thing with you with guys. If a guy has certain behaviors, maybe he goes out all the time with his friends. You think he's going to change that? He's not going to change that. That's who he is. It's if he's telling you little white lies now, he's going to keep telling you little white lies. If he's cheating on you now while you're dating, he's going to cheat on you when you're in a relationship. Just pay attention to who people are and don't expect them to be any different. And again, the lie is, I can change them. They will change for me. They will change for my love. And nobody's love is that amazing that somebody else will change who they are because of it. They will change who they are because they want to change. And do people change in a relationship sometimes because they want to change? Sometimes they do. But it's not because of you, it's because of them, right? And usually it's motivated by something outside of you, not because of you. Okay. So I think those are the biggest ones. I think if I can just wrap this up without having to spend a lot more time talking, because these are the main ones. I think the best way to wrap this up, people, is we have to be aware of who we are showing up in a relationship, and we have to be aware of who is also showing up in that relationship to who the other person is. It's very important in finding a healthy relationship that there's two conscious, intentional people, showing up there. If we're lying to ourselves or coming in with limiting beliefs about who we are, about what love is, or about what a relationship is, or our ability to find someone healthy or someone good, those limitations, those thoughts will prevent you from finding somebody. And Could it be thoughts because they're energy and they're keeping you? Yes. And it could be also because of self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth is holding you back as well. So if you found yourself in any of these stories today, any of these lies, and there's different versions of them and different degrees of them, but any of them, you need to look at yourself and say, okay, what is this showing me, right? What could I learn from this, right? So if I've got this, I don't need love to be happy. Ladies, you do this more than anybody. That uber independence thing. What can you learn from that? What can you take from that? How do you find the happy place in that? Because there's two ends of the spectrum. I don't need anybody and I need someone. Nobody wants the needy person, and nobody really wants that uber independent person, like that woman that goes, I don't need anybody. That's also a repeller. It's not an attractor, it's a repeller. So it's super important that we find our place. It's like, okay, I say that to myself. I don't need love to be happy. I don't need love to be happy in my life. I'm happy. I love myself, but I want a relationship and I want to find somebody to love and that loves me back the same way, right? I mean, just open it up, clarify it, speak it over yourself, speak it into your life, and stop with the lies and the limiting beliefs, because they will keep you. They are keeping many of you from finding relationships. Some of you have gotten completely out of dating. You've pulled yourself off the apps. You've pulled yourself out of finding somebody. You're going out with your girlfriends or your guy friends, and you're not available at all. That doesn't work either. All right. That doesn't work. If you really want a relationship, search your heart and soul. If that's what you really want, stop doing this. Stop doing these things. I guess I want to say last, because I'm all done. I don't have any questions, which I'm going to say, I guess I did okay if I don't have any questions. But last thing I want to say is our app is going now. After beta, Lovey, it's Lovey app, Lovey.ai. You can find the link or on my page. But we are going now. Beta's over. We got everything fixed. We shortened the assessment at the beginning. Matching is going. We're marketing it like crazy. We wanted to give you guys a different experience for finding love, something that's not superficial, something that's value-based, something that's based on how you love, something that has a foundation in attachment styles and love languages and all that. This app has it in there. You don't know it, but that's who it's finding for you. So open yourself up to something new, not just the app, but to people. So you get in the app, you get in any app, you have to find different people. At least this algorithm isn't about how much money you make, how tall you are, what kind of shoes you wear, where you shop. This is about who you are, what you believe in, what you hold true to your heart, what a relationship looks like to you, how you love, and pulling people in that are going to be similar with that. And we're having great success with people finding love on the app as well. And I will tell you, I think most of our people are in right now, most of our people are in their 50s. So for those of you that are maybe in your 20s, it may not be the best time to get on the app, but we will be as we get out in other cities, we will be changing our demographic. But for right now, we're 40s, 50s, and 60s. So I'm really good with that. I feel like that's just a great demographic. We know who we are. We know what we want. And those are the people I really want to serve. So Lovey.ai, jump on in, guys. We are ready, and we got matches for you. So thanks for being here. Love you guys. I've missed you. I'm going to start having some guests on. I'm sick of sitting here and talking to the camera and waiting for questions. But we'll have some guests in the near future, and that's it. So I'll see you on Lovey.
This is Jennifer. Thanks for listening today, and please subscribe to the podcast. Each show, we're going to have new topics and information. If you'd like to find out more about coaching or matchmaking, please go to my website at lovejen.com, or you can find me on my Facebook page, my personal page at Jennifer Stiers.